What's up out there in football land? It's Sonia Anderson, host of All Things Football from a Lady's Perspective. The NFC Divisional game is still ongoing with 50 seconds, but that game is a wrap. Eagles win at 38-7. We'll get into that in just a moment. Let me let y'all know I was wrong for my episode yesterday. Both of my picks, I was totally wrong. But I was correct in saying that PATS game was going to be close, and it was. Let's start off with a little bit of background on the AFC Jacksonville Jaguars versus New England Patriots. First of all, Mercedes Lewis is the only Jaguar left from the last playoff appearance that the Jaguars had back in 2007, and it was only fitting that he opened the scoring drive for the Jaguars with a 4-yard touchdown reception. Now, this game was special because it also featured brothers from both sides, Eric and Michael Kendricks, one with Philadelphia and one with Minnesota. Those two brothers squared off, but only one victor. That will be for your NFC game that I'll be covering later on. Now, back to the AFC game. I wanted to get into some stats with you guys and some actual breakdowns in case some of you all did not get a chance to watch the game. But first of all, before I forget, please subscribe to this channel for all things football from a lady's perspective. And it's all things football, not just Panthers. And yes, I'm wearing my championship hat, even though we were eliminated a couple of weeks ago, because in my book, we're always champs. But let me also let you know, gents, if you're tuning in, please go ahead and let your ladies in your life know about this channel. And you can feel free to still tune in as well. Hit the subscribe button so that you can be notified when we get anything uploaded on this channel. If you are a Panthers fan, please follow us on www.thecarolinapantherets.com for all things Panther related from a lady's perspective. Now, after the postseason is over with, which is after February 4th, we'll be using this channel to go into faith, fitness, and football, as well as fashion. So we're going to still keep this channel going, and you know the NFL news never stops. Now, the main thing that the Jaguars had to deal with was they came in as a defensive team. They were ranked 5th in the NFL, and they had a 15.2% defensive rating, which was good. Now, the main thing they had for their strengths were their run game, screens, dropbacks, and the play actions. Those things had to be strong in order for them to win this game, and they had to keep their composure. Back in August, a lot of people don't realize, but the New England Patriots hosted the Jacksonville Jaguars in an off-the-media type matchup where they both had like a training camp for 4 days, and they were able to scrimmage each other. Never did they know that they would meet up later. As a matter of fact, in the regular season early on, New England demolished the Jaguars 51-17, if I'm correct, was the score. But this would not happen again today. Jacksonville's O-line was amazing. They were protective of Blake Bortles, and they protected him for moments at a time, allowing him to come out of the pocket and do those deep passes that we knew that he could do, that we've seen off and on during the regular season. He was really good at that in the postseason. Yeldon started off with a 3rd down back, and their offensive coordinator is amazing as well. Now, in the second quarter, with 1 minute and 20 seconds to go, at the half, Gronkowski got hit helmet to helmet by Church, and he was removed from the game and placed in concussion protocol. Now, for Patriots fans, they became concerned, but I knew there was not a problem because Amendola and Dion Lewis were still out on the field, and true to fashion, Amendola showed up and showed out. The Patriots were down for most of the game, but we've seen the same Patriot scheme every time. In fact, it seems like Tom Brady is just taking a break, only to come back in the 3rd and 4th quarters, most of the time the 4th quarter, to shock everyone. But not a shocker anymore. His hand was bandaged, and we saw repeatedly them placing glue on it to keep the bandage secure, and him putting it in a little hand rest when he was not using it. So clearly his hand was injured, but it did not affect his game or his throwing. Boyer was not on his game today, as we thought he would be in the last appearance. As a matter of fact, he had a couple pass interference calls. And with that helmet to helmet on Gronkowski, that was a 15-yard. And with that back play of Boyer next was another 15-yard for pass interference. Gave them 32 yards. So guess what? The Patriots marched them down, and that was a game changer, and that's when they got back in the game. Josh Lamb hit a career-high 54-yard field goal for the Jaguars, and that's a franchise career high for the Jacksonville Jaguars. But those penalties, like I said, was really the game changer for this. Brady went on to have a 24-yard pass, and it just kept going on and on and on. Now with Blake Bortles in the third quarter and 2 minutes and 10 seconds left, they tried to do a little extra stuff, as I call it, a little back and forth passes. Bortles passed a pass to Lee, who passed it back to him, and guess what? Picked off. So the fourth quarter, same thing. Brady tried the same thing to Dion Lewis, back to Brady, back to the Pats. And with that play, Mr. Mouse Jack, was injured and carted off of the field. Now, the Jaguars really needed him for their defense because he's a key defensive player. The next play resulted in, you guessed it, Darius being injured. Now, Darius had 3 sacks on the night, and he had his third sack in the fourth quarter with 10 minutes and 56 seconds, and we thought that would be enough to hold the Pats off. Not so. And Mendola had a 21-yard catch for a third down conversion with 10 minutes and 20 seconds left in the game, left in the fourth quarter. There was a double pass again from Brady to flicker to Brady to Dorsett for the first down at the 23-yard line. And after that play, the score went up because Amendola caught another touchdown pass to make that 3rd and 18 completion. Amendola, in fact, caught 3 passes, including the touchdown in that one play that was 85 yards for the total drive. At that point, Miles Jack was carted off, and both he and Darius left the game with 3 minutes and 43 seconds left. New England took the lead with 2 minutes and 48 seconds left with a 4-yard pass to Amendola again to make the score 23-20, and then the field goal was good, making it a 24-20 game. That would be the last score of the entire game. Dion Lewis, with 1 minute and 47 seconds left, gets the first down for the game. The Pats take the knee, and all of a sudden, a brawl breaks out. Tensions, of course, were running high the entire game. A lot of pushing and shoving, but the game is over. And that's it. 24-20. Patriots advance, as they always do, to Super Bowl 52. They are trying for their 6th ring. And if they get this number 6 ring, they will be tied with the Steelers, San Francisco 49ers, and I'm trying to remember, I'm sure somebody else. Oh, Dallas Cowboys. I think they got 5 rings, so they'll be ahead of them. Just a few. Green Bay, I think, has a few rings. There's a few teams out there that have a handful of rings, and Brady just keeps on going. Now, let's get over to this NFC game that I am thoroughly disappointed in. The Vikings and the Eagles in Philadelphia. Now, again, the Eagles were underdogs, so they are wearing their dog mask, wondering how they're underdogs at home. Now, before the game, this group of people called the Crisco Cops were going out, putting oil all over the telephone poles that were near the stadium because Eagles fans are known to climb poles after games. That's a little known fact. NFC Championship game. Case Keenum, one show. I personally have to tell you, I was not recognizing this team tonight. Actually disappointed because this clearly is not the same team that played last week against the New Orleans Saints, who we know have a very high-powered offense. Minnesota went into this game having the number 1 defense, and I'm clearly like, did they even get on the plane? Because defense wins championships, but can't get this championship if you don't win the game. Case Keenum was the first undrafted quarterback in franchise history to even go to the playoffs. Now, this is the game I was telling you that brothers Eric and Michael Kendricks were squaring off. Eric Kendricks is for the Vikings, and Michael Kendricks is for the Eagles. Case Keenum took Nick Foles' job back in St. Louis. So that's a little history fact there, that when Nick Foles was the quarterback in St. Louis. Case Keenum came in and took his job. Who would have known? Foles is the second player in Eagles franchise history with 100% passer rating, only seconded to Donovan McNabb, retired Eagles. Now, Case Keenum came in with a 67% quarterback rating, and I don't even think he had 20% tonight. The opening run was made by Latavius Murray, and Kyle Rudolph opened it up for the touchdown within the first 4 minutes and 46 seconds. And guess what, guys? That was it. This team did absolutely nothing the remainder of the game. Nick Foles deep ball to Smith at the 5-yard line, and it was dropped. But the ball was perfect, but Smith let it go right through his arms. And at first it looked like a tit-for-tat game, but it really wasn't. The Eagles found their rhythm, and they soared. Torrey Smith missed that another pass that went in. It was back-to-back passes from Nick Foles. The second was for 54 yards, and he overthrew him. But it was really because Smith didn't run fast enough to get it. He let up. So 2 passes, it looked like, okay, this is typical. We've seen this before with Nick Foles. Not true. This game was initially changed because of errors on Case Keenum's part. Case Keenum had an interception that was tipped by Chris Long as he was throwing the pass. And Patrick Robinson caught that first interception and made the touchdown. The pass was supposedly going to Adam Thielen, and it didn't go. So, touchdown scored. The score is now 7-7, and it's tied. One thing about it, indoor teams are known to be 0-12 when they come and play conference games that are outside based, and that's been a statistic since 1966. So, in other words, teams that have these indoor stadiums, they don't usually advance in the playoffs when they come to an outdoor stadium because those people are used to playing in the elements. Just keep that in mind. Ajayi had 13 yards for the Philadelphia first down with 4 minutes and 30 seconds left in the first quarter. He had back-to-back passes, and then Foles did back-to-back passes to Ertz, who was another hit maker. The Eagles moved that score up 14-7. The Eagles just kept getting back in scoring position. What more can I say? There's no need to break down individual stats because there were so many yards that were accumulated by the Eagles that nobody even saw it coming. Now, Danielle Hunter did sack Foles to prevent them from scoring at one point. But again, it didn't take long before the Eagles began to take flight again. Clearly, this team played like the number 1 seed that they are, and Minnesota did not play like the number 2 seed they are. Keenum was hit by Chris Long again for, you got it, another interception. And that interception went and was scored again. So the first half, the Vikes were plagued by turnovers, and they never recuperated from that. It was the first time that the Vikes had allowed that many points within a first half. So they were breaking records, but not the best ones. Xavier Rhodes was not that loud tonight in his playing because he was playing through a toe injury. Ajayi and Mati extended the lead ridiculously, and Ajayi was on fire. The former Miami Dolphin who changed and came to this team in October proved where he belongs. Now at the half, Jake Elliott had a 17-point lead by kicking that 38-yard field goal, and it made it 24-7. And ironically, the 17-point lead was the same lead that the Vikes originally had over the Saints last week. That's pretty much it for the game, y'all. I mean, it just went on and on and on to be Eagles, Eagles, Eagles. And after that, there was nothing left to even speak on. Now, I'll be back on here later on this week, maybe tomorrow or Tuesday, with some more stuff leading up into this Super Bowl. But I'd like to hear your feedback. I personally am not interested in watching the Eagles and the Patriots game. I'm not a hater or anything. I just feel like, for one, I really didn't want the Patriots there. Number 2, I really was rooting for the Jaguars and the Vikes. And now that they're not going, I just don't see the point. But no hate, all love. Congratulations, Eagle fans. Congratulations, Patriot fans. Good luck to you both. May the better team win. And remember, defense wins championships. So I'm just hoping that the Eagles can play like they did tonight, because they're sure going to need it in Minnesota. And to Minnesota, I'm very sorry that you missed your opportunity to play in your home city. And Jacksonville, I'm very sorry that you guys were eliminated as well. Don't forget, next year's Super Bowl will be in Atlanta, and I'm sure that the Falcons are going to be aiming to be that one team that's the only team that's ever played in their own city for a Super Bowl championship. Thank you for tuning in. I got one more little tidbit of information that was breaking news. Apparently, Jay Gruden may be considered for hire as defensive coordinator with Mr. Sherman up in New York. I'll keep you updated on that as news happens. And again, please subscribe. Thanks for tuning in to All Things Football. Have a great night.